Hello, guys! Today I'm doing a painting, and let me just make sure I bring up the chat so I can see all of your wonderful, lovely faces. And it looks like we have, T-Love T. I remember you. Good to see you, man. Today I am doing some painting. I need to get back into painting. I've been doing a lot of, game playing and, other various different things. Like, I just finished my whole cycle of, talking about my cube and all that. And, so I'm ready to get back into doing some more painting. So today I am going to paint this swamp. And I really like the coloration on it. I was kind of I knew I wanted to paint a land, and I was kind of flipping through some various different lands that I have, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And actually, this land it was funny because I have a pile of lands that I'm interested in painting, but I had this land just kind of sitting on my table, as if I set it aside for some reason, and I was I think I really want to paint this. And I was kind of comparing it to the other lands, and I was looking at some plains and islands and mountains and things like that. So I was just really, I don't know, I don't remember how long it's been sitting on my table waiting for me to paint it. So I kind of just decided that this is going to be the land I paint today. So as you guys might notice, unlike the last time when I had painted a Kamigawa mountain, I forgot to lay down the primer last time, and so we did a whole bunch of spending time with laying down primer. And hey Rebecca, good to see you, girl. Thanks for hopping in. Normally I like to do the primer off screen, and last time I just kind of forgot to do it. So this time I remembered to actually set up the primer so you guys don't have to watch me lay gray paint on everything. So we're just going to be able to jump right into this, and we're going to be able to jump right into all the color and stuff like that. So, I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys out, bring up the camera just a little bit. I'm going to move this guy out of the way so we can focus on some paint. So, I will say this, I think I want to start with the darker purple stuff, so we're going to be jumping right into some color and some dark purple and stuff like that. It's kind of got this, interesting violet kind of tone to it. I really like it. I really like the pinks and the purples and the violets and things like that. So that's what we're going to be focusing on to start with. I think I'll start with a... You know what? We'll start with a pink. How does that sound? We'll start with a pink. We'll kind of lay it over the top and see how well it blends. And then we'll tone it down with a darker purple color, I guess. Hey, Bo Falcon! Good to see you, man. Glad to have you in here. So yeah, I'm going to set that up right now. We'll get this guy out of the way. And we will bring in my palette. I love to have my palette on screen while I'm mixing colors so I can kind of show you guys what I'm up to. What kind of shenanigans I'm getting into. Let's see here. I think we should... Oh, should I start with purple or should I start with pink? I don't know. Because, I did say I wanted to do pink, but now I'm, thinking about it, and I think I want to start maybe with, a lighter purple. I think that would maybe blend better. Because pink is not really... I think pink is something that I can, lay over in a, lighter layer over the purple. So maybe I should start with the purple instead. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to start with purple. I know I was just talking about pink, but let's start with a purple and see where we go from there. So, let me bring this a little closer. So I'm going to lay down some blue and lay down some red, and then we'll mix in a purple. I'm going to get this paint off of the cap. God, I should clean these. I think I say that every time I do this stream. God, I should clean these. God, I should clean these. But I don't do it. Because I'm lazy, even though I probably should. And I mean, they're cheap paints, so it's not like I'm ruining them, I guess? I don't know. But yeah, we'll start with this purple, and we'll see where it goes. I gotta tell you guys, I was looking around on TCG Player, right before I started this stream, and I've been kind of, going around on it for the last couple of days, and there's some interesting price changes. I don't know if you guys, I don't do it every day or every week or anything like that, but every once in a while I get bored and I'll like go on to TCG Player, and I'll kind of like go through my buy list and kind of like look around at cards that I think might have like fluctuated in price. There have been some wild fluctuations with cards recently. Like, there's I so much so that I bought one. Like, I actually bought like a really nice, like sort of expensive card. Like, it wasn't like, see, here's the thing for anybody who knows how I shop about cards. I'm not this super high quality, pricey, card buyer. I'm not like dropping like $100 on a card, or normally it's lucky if I even drop $20 on a single card. So there are a lot of cards that are like just barely out of my reach, and like it really bugs me because like they're good cards and I want them, especially in my cube. And so I went on to TCG Player just out of curiosity, and I can't even remember exactly what spawned it, but I went through my buy list and I was like kind of punching in some like really super expensive cards, to like kind of see what was going on with them. And like the kinds where it's like, oh, a copy of this card is like $50, and it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy any of those cards for like $50, but like it's nice to kind of watch them, and you never know what kind of deals you're gonna find. So let me read what Peacock before I get into this. Peacock says, just stopping in to say, sup sexy pepper, by the way, the market is in flux due to Commander now solidly taking Magic over and the crossover with Arena. That's interesting. That's very interesting. That would make some sense. I did notice some, like, there were some really weird drops in price on certain cards that I really want, and there were some really weird spikes on cards that I would have never expected. So that would probably make a lot of sense, especially because it's we were definitely in a time where Commander is like the dominant like fluctuator of like the value of Magic cards. I think it's because Standard is in like such a big mess right now that everybody's flocking to Commander, and like that's causing a lot of the weird price fluctuations that I've been seeing. Because there are some weird ones. There are some really weird ones. Like I said, the one that was really weird, it totally caught me by surprise. It's one of those prices where I was so absolutely caught off guard by it, like it astounded me, that I bought it on the spot. Like I was like, I didn't even think about it. I was like, oh my god, that is the lowest price I've ever seen for that card in my entire life. And I just immediately like hit the buy button. And like it was really funny because I ordered it on like a few hours before New Year's Eve, and it was so surprising to me, and I just immediately bought it. And it was one of those things where like my brain had not wrapped around the fact that I had actually bought the thing. So I actually went, like, for example, today I was like, oh yeah, I bought that card, didn't I should probably go back and check the receipt and make sure everything's okay with it, because I have no idea when it's going to get here, or like what I did to like buy it. Like I wasn't even thinking about it because I was so astounded with the price. So I mean, I keep talking about it, but I'm not telling you guys what it is. So to get to the point, there was apparently, I don't know, like I've not heard any announcements about it. Like I've not heard any news or anybody talking about it. They apparently reprinted Arcbound Ravager as a Judge promo foil. And they gave it like this really new, beautiful art. Like the art for the new Arcbound Ravager promo is beautiful. It's so beautiful and it looks amazing. It's like, I actually think it might be like, I originally thought that the Modern Masters reprint of Arcbound Ravager was the best. But I think this new art promo they did for, it's like it's a Judge promo, and they did it like, they did this art special for this Arcbound Ravager, and it is amazing looking. And here's the thing of like why I binge bought it on the spot. It's only $10. So for anybody who doesn't like track like prices on ridiculous cards like Arcbound Ravager, for example, which is the one I'm talking about, Arcbound Ravager is like a $40 card, non-foil. Like, it's Like the non-foil versions of Arcbound Ravager, whether it is from Darksteel or whether it is from Modern Masters, it's like a $30 to $40 card, which I can't afford. Um, and that doesn't even begin to like talk about the that's not the right color. That's okay. I'll just add some more red. That doesn't even begin to like talk about the foils. Like the Arcbound Ravager foils for like both Modern Masters and Darksteel are obscenely expensive. I'm talking about like the $80 to $100 range. And so I was like, well, I really want an Arcbound Ravager, and I want it in my cube, so I only need a single copy. Like, I'm not going to be, dishing out tons of money to buy like 4 or 5 copies of this guy, because that's like 40 or 50 bucks right there. I just want the one. Like, I just want it for, I'm not running Ravager Affinity bullshit. I just want one for my cube, So I saw the price tag on it, and I was just like, oh my god, I gotta get my hands on this, because I don't think that it's gonna stay $10. It's a Judge promotional foil Arcbound Ravager with brand new, beautiful art. It's so beautiful looking. And I just binge bought it. Like, I wasn't, when the moment that I saw it, I was like, I gotta buy this. Like, I don't know how long this price is gonna stay this way. It's like the cheapest price I've ever seen on an Arcbound Ravager. And like, the thing is that it's not a mistake, because there are multiple sellers all selling Arcbound Ravager at that like $9 to $10 price tag. And they're like mint foil Arcbound Ravagers, Judge promotions. Now, I mean, I'm sure that there are plenty of people that would be like, oh, well, it's a Judge promotion. Oh, it's not the original. Oh, it's, it's a foil, so it's going to curl. And it's like, I also saw like a $80, $100 Arcbound Ravager that was from Darksteel, and that thing curled like a frickin' Pringle, man. Like a Pringle, dude. It was obscene. And I was like, well, that's the life of collecting foils. Like, it doesn't matter, like, what time they were printed at. Like, sadly, foils... by the way, I have this nice purple that I'm going to try out, so I'm gonna work with it. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, I just saw that, like, that foil Judge promotional Arcbound Ravager, and I bought it without even thinking about it. It was so weird. And, like, I remember telling you guys a while ago about how, like, sometimes I get obsessive about cards, and, like, I can't stop thinking about them. Arcbound Ravager wasn't that level for me, mostly because Arcbound Ravager spent a lot of time traumatizing me in my early childhood, when I was first getting into Magic. So I wasn't really all super obsessed with trying to acquire that card, because there's so much trauma involved with it that it's like, I can do without this. But a major part of it, too, is that, well, it's, really, really strong, and I really want one for my cube. And it's like, when you see it at that obscenely low price, you're just like, I gotta have it. Like, I've never seen the price tag that low for a card like that. It just blew my mind. So yeah, I bought a copy of it without thinking about it. It's gonna show up in, like, I don't know, like 6 to 8 days, 6 to 8 business days. And I mean, I don't mind, like I said, like, I don't mind throwing down, like, $10 for a card like that. Like, that's generally, like, generally, like, 10 bucks is, like, where I want to be if I'm buying a single copy of a card. $20 is my maximum limit. I do not spend money on cards greater than, like, $20. And that's a real struggle, because, like, sometimes cards I really, really want are super crazy expensive, way above that $20 mark. And it's just like, well, I mean, I'll watch it like a hawk, and I'll hope to God that maybe it'll come down in price, but I'm not going to be super concerned or worried about it, And, it's like I said, like, I wasn't obsessed with trying to get my hands on the Ravager, but at the same time, it was a card that I was watching very heavily, trying and praying and hoping that it would go down in price to something reasonable. And for the first time ever, I saw it at a reasonable price, and I bought it without even thinking about it, And that actually, what's kind of funny is I was thinking to myself right before I started the stream that is something I don't do that very often. Like, and it almost kind of bothered me a little bit thinking about it, because, like, I don't really binge buy things. I, like, usually calculate and think about it. Like I said, like I have a buy list, like a big old Magic card buy list, and I very have like carefully calculate like, oh, I think that this is going to go up in price, so I should buy it right now, or I think this one's going to go down in price, so I shouldn't buy it yet because I'm pretty sure it's going to get lower. So like I'm very like I don't binge buy things, especially Magic cards. But it just was really weird seeing that Arcbound Ravager, and then like literally like I saw like the price tag, and I was like, buy, 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 buy it now. Don't think, do it now. Like, you know, it was a really weird feeling because I don't normally do that. Um, I mean, I will admit that there are some cards that I buy more expensively just because I really want them, but it's not common for me at all. I'm definitely more of like a bargain kind of person when it comes to buying Magic cards. So, um, and I mean, I feel like a lot of the time the really nice Magic cards I get, like the really cool and expensive ones, like the really powerful ones that happen to go up in price. Most of them I never actually pay full price for, like, or even like a lot of them I got for free. So it's like like whether I opened them in packs, like or got them in like trades, or friends just gave them to me like a long time ago or whatever, and it just so happens to be lucky enough that it's gone up in price like crazy. Um, and I mean, for anybody who knows me, I'm not a card seller. I don't sell cards. Price tag is like the only thing that I concern about for price tag when it comes to Magic cards is like how much money am I spending to acquire the card. It's not how much money can I make selling the card. That's not my thought process. Like never. It's always, all right, I really want this card. I want it in my collection. I want to play it in my cube, whatever. Like, how much money am I going to have to spend to acquire that single piece of cardboard to add it to my collection? So, you know. And I mean, I always think that, like, I'm being pretty reasonable with the prices that like, the general, um, like money I spend on Magic cards. I try to be really conscious about it because I have to pay bills, and I have other things I need to do with my money, and I try to be reasonable. I don't, buy crazy amounts of cards, and I will admit that, like it's getting easier for me to acquire more cards that I really want. Simply because, like what Pink Peacock was saying, is that there are a lot of weird price fluctuations because of Commander specifically. And that is actually affecting my buy list, like in a good way. I mean, there are some that are annoying where they go really high in price, and it's like, well, that's going to be out of my reach for at least another year or two. But like I said, like some of the price tags have gone way down, and it's been a lot easier acquiring um, cards that I really truly want. Um, which is, like I said, like you just like if you're trying to buy cards like I do, like just keep a buy list and don't immediately buy things. Like just kind of watch them, because like, and it's also good to kind of get like a good perspective of like, how does that card affect the format that it's like popular in, or like what is its general playability outside of competitive, because if you're a casual gamer like I am, like that's a big deal. Like I like cards that have like a casual impact, but like they look like crap in like a competitive environment. So like that'll often affect um, you know just like what the price is going to be, whether it's going to go down or whether it's going to go up, so on and so forth. Another thing too is sometimes like understanding like where you are in the current, like for example, like I bought I remember a while, this was some time ago, this was like this was back when the new Ravnica set came out. I bought like some Shocklands, but the thing is that like I bought them, and they were older Shocklands. They were not like, they were Shocklands from like I think Return to Ravnica rather than Ravnica Allegiance or whatever. So they were older, but they went down in price because of the reprints. And I was like, well, these are going to jump back up in price again, a few years later or something like that. So this is probably a good chance for me to buy them while they're low. so that I can put them in something that I really want to put them in. And that was also at a time where I was still playing casual, like still playing casual decks. So I bought those Shocklands for a what was it? An actual like casual like red and blue deck or something like that. And it's not something I really play at all anymore. I mean, it's cool that there's Shocklands in them. Like that's kind of cool, I guess, you know. But it's not really something I play because I'm not really into playing that way anymore. Like constructed's not very fun for me. Like I mean, you know, I guess it's not constructed. It's just like casual, like modern style Magic, I guess. I don't know. It was just like pick a deck, play with it. You know, like whatever, like anything can happen. I did used to play that way a lot, and I had a few decks that I did that with. But ever since I got started on playing Cube all the time, that's just kind of what I do now, and that's all I want to do. Like it's everything else for Magic is not very fun for me anymore. So I just play Cube, and that's where I get my Magic fun. And it's always great because I can just kind of, you know, play casually, hang out with my friends, things like that. So that's how I like it to roll. So I'm kind of adding in this purple. I'm kind of putting it everywhere. I don't really want to change up the color yet. I'm kind of like adding this in because I'm also noticing that like this purple that I'm using is blending in pretty well here at the top and also down here with this like swampy water going on down here. So based on the fact that the purple looks really good at the top and the purple also looks pretty darn good at the bottom, I'm just going to coat the whole thing in purple and then we're going to go from there. So like it's going to be just like a rounded out purple wash over everything, and then we're going to paint in layers over the purple to get it to the right like colors. Like you'll notice that the purple doesn't really blend in down here. And obviously there's all these like green bones and these gnarled trees and things like that. So we are going to add that stuff in layers. I just want to get like a good purple wash going on first. So yeah, there was something else I was thinking about, but I couldn't remember. Like something involving Magic cards, but I can't really. It was like I was so distracted by talking about TCG Player and all that that I didn't think to. Like I didn't remember the other thing I was going to talk about involving Magic, but yeah, I mean, I'm actually surprised that I was able to find that card at its price, and I'm like really excited to put it into the cube. Like, I'm still making room for like new things in my cube, like constantly, which is really weird because like I was talking to my best friend a while ago, and I was like, I actually got my cube to like where I want it to be. Like, it doesn't need anything anymore, and it's like here I am buying cards for my cube still, like, you know? And I don't know, it's like the thing that's really fun about it is that it feels like it's a constant like work in progress, I guess. And like it can always get better. So it's kind of like I have it where I generally want it to be, but at the same time, like if I get something like an Arcbound Ravager, I can still make room for what I really want in there. And it was funny because right after, like, I think it was, did I do it? I think yeah, earlier today. So earlier today, I actually went through my cube and pulled out, like, I pulled an artifact that I am willing to get rid of in order to fit the Arcbound Ravager in there. So, hey, Chris God, how you doing, man? Good to see you, dude. Thank you for joining. I'm just, you know, painting a swamp. Talking about really interesting card fluctuations, like price tag fluctuations in Magic cards. I was talking about, I already mentioned, I was talking about Arcbound Ravager. They reprinted Arcbound Ravager as a Judge promotional foil, and it's only like $10, dude. It's only $10 for a single copy of it, which is crazy. Like I said, I think it will probably, like, I mean, okay, here's the deal. Anything I talk about involving financial gain over, you know, selling Magic cards or Magic card prices, I don't know what I'm talking about, okay? Don't take my advice for buying Magic cards as a way to make money, please don't. Like, that's not what I'm here for. That's not what I do. But this is what I will say. After having made that statement, this is what I will say. I do believe that Arcbound Ravager promotional foil is going to go up in price. Like, it's bound to happen. Like, it's an Arcbound Ravager. Like, it's not going to stay at $10. Like, there's no way. But like I said, that's the reason why I bought one, like, immediately. Like, I was like, there's no way this price is going to stay like this. Chris Scott says, I'm doing great, bro. Just working and waiting to be done. Well, glad to have you in here while you're working, man. Good stuff, dude. Yeah, I just, I just got really excited about that because I've never owned an Arcbound Ravager. Even in the days of Darksteel, and it's just really cool that I can put one in my cube finally, because like I'm constantly trying to get really powerful bullshit for my cube, and I mean I feel like I'm always like adding really cool new things. Like I mean I recently added like some obscenely powerful cards in there not too long ago with the help of Bowfalcon. Bowfalcon sent me some obscenely powerful magic cards. In fact, actually, he's sending me more. That's what he told me, anyways. Which is really cool. Like, I really super appreciate that. And they're going straight into my cube, and it's like I keep finding like new powerful things to throw into the cube, which is making it a lot more fun for me and my friends. And it was also really cool because, like, I think I told you guys that I played cube with my best friend and his brother. And his brother really wanted to build his own cube, but he was like really hesitant about it, and he like didn't know like how to go about it or where to start or like whether or not he even actually wanted to do it. And so like my friend invited me over to like bring my cube and play with him and his brother to really like get him to get that extra push to play cube and stuff like that. And it was really cool because he had a wonderful time. I mean, he didn't say whether or not he was actually going to build his own cube or not after that experience. But I think that he had such a great time playing cube with us that it'll, make him want to take that next step into actually building himself a cube. And the thing is, too, that I've learned is from personal experience of building one, if you build a cube, like, you kind of, like, it's kind of an investment, like, in the sense of, maybe not an investment, like, it's really a major, like, you have to go all in on it, because it ends up being pretty expensive. Like, it's one of those things where you have to spend, like, a lot of money in the very beginning, but, like, after you spend, like, all that money in the beginning to, like, do it, you don't really have to spend that money ever again. The main thing is, like, buying, like, sleeves and stuff like that can get pretty pricey when you're building a cube. That was, like, literally I would say probably the most expensive part of building my cube was buying all the sleeves that I had to get. Because I had to get 420 sleeves for my cube to get it to be the way that it is now. Hey, Lettuce! How's it going, dude? Good to see you, man. I am painting a swamp today. And I'm also talking about cube and card prices and stuff like that. It's just because I'm all excited about the order that I made. I also am expecting like some other packages to come in that are not Magic related, but sooner they get here the better. One of them came in the other day, which is like I'm super upset about it because the package that came in yesterday was a Christmas present. Yeah, it came in yesterday, and it's a Christmas present for a very good friend of mine. And I was so angry that I couldn't get it to her earlier. So now I'm just going to have to like meet up with her when I get the chance and get that present to her. So, very good friend of mine. And I just wanted to get her a Christmas gift. So yeah. And I'm also waiting for some other things to come in too. Like I've been a little more spendy this last month. So, and I'm trying not to like spend too much, like, cause I gotta live. Lettuce says, I bought a UPS for my PC router slash modem. Okay. That sounds pretty good, man. Like upgrading the whole system and all that. Gonna do anything really fancy with it? What you trying to get at, Lettuce? What you trying to get at with that thing? um, I'm wondering if I've been using this little brush this whole time, and I've only just realized, like, maybe I should use my big brush. Like, I've been so distracted with talking about all the magic stuff that I haven't even thought about using my bigger brush. I've been using a tiny brush. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of purple going on with this bigger brush, because I think it'll help speed this process up a little bit more. I mean, it makes sense because I was kind of doing the top part and the edges with the little brush, which works better. But this bigger area down here, I should have been using the larger brush. And, like, once I get this purple all, like, filled out on the bottom layer here, I'll be able to switch up the colors and we can move on to a different color. But I just want to get this base coat down because it's going to make everything... it's just going to help blend all the other colors together when we move on from it. And it's very obvious to me that this particular shade of purple is pretty prominent in this particular piece. So that's why I kind of want to just get it all done right now. For anybody who's seen me paint before, my paints tend to dry out. So I kind of just want, like, everything, like, all this base color done so that I don't have to worry about my purple drying up and being like, oh, no, I didn't do the bottom portion. Lettuce says, oh, the power grid in my neighborhood is shit. I'm pretty sure I can increase uptime for fun stuff. Yes. I'm sure that that'll work out great for you, Lettuce. Oh, you crack me up, dude. Well, now we know what Lettuce is up to. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I just have, like, a pretty, like, basic modem. It does just fine. Like, I've heard, like, complaints from various different people who use the same service as I do. But I've never really had a problem with my modem or my service. I think it does just fine. I upgraded it, like, not that long ago, I think. I can't remember. I mean, that should say something, so, I mean, I can't remember it, so it probably was a long time ago. Whatever, I don't really care. As long as I can, you know, watch my YouTube videos and do my streams and, you know, not be throttled or anything like that, like, I'm fine. I don't really care. I mean, you guys probably already know, I'm not really a tech-savvy dude. I really am not, which is really funny to me. It makes me laugh that I am not good with computers or anything like that, because my dad is, like, absolutely, like, ridiculously talented when it comes to computers. It blows my mind every single time. And, like, I gained none of that computer talent whatsoever. Uh, I mean, I do a whole bunch of other really fun and cool things and, you know, stuff like that, but I gained none of my father's, like, computer expertise whatsoever. And, like, I'll even admit, sometimes, like, when I listen to him, like, I try to, like, keep up with him, like, and sometimes, like, he's really good at, like, breaking things down for me so that it makes more sense. Like, he can sometimes get into pretty basic terms when trying to explain, like, stuff that he's doing with his computer or software or whatever. And, like, a lot of the time, if he lays down, like, the base explanation for me, and, like, then goes into a lot more detail about what he's working on, I can usually keep up with him. But there are definitely times where it's like, Dad, I have no idea what the hell you're saying. I have no idea. You're, like, speaking an alien language to me right now. But, you know, it's awesome because it's really nice having a dad who is very good with computers. It definitely makes getting all my stuff involved with my computer setup a lot easier. And it's also funny because my sister, her husband, who's an amazing dude, he's also a computers expert. So he's really, really good at doing things with computers. And, you know, it's just kind of nice because I have, like, a family full of people who are very talented when it comes to working with computers. And I have none of that talent whatsoever, so it's really nice when I'm like, hey dad, blah 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 is like doing something and I have no idea how to handle it. And he's like, oh, alright, like let me walk you through the steps and blah 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 blah. And it's like, oh, awesome, okay. Terabytes of tentacle hentai. Goodness gracious. That's pretty scary there, Lettuce, but I mean, it's all good, man. You do you. You do you, man. It's all good. No judgment. Okay, so now I actually have to concentrate and figure out, like, what colors I want to use. One of the first things I think I want to do is I kind of want to do, like, the outlines of these trees. And I'll probably use black and, like, use really, really light shades of black and then go over it with, like, a coat of green. Like, just because, like, it kind of has, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's, like a light shade of, like, gooey green all over the... There you go, you can kind of see it right there. There's a light shade of, like, gooey green color, like, all over the roots and things like that. But it's primarily, like, light browns, grays, blacks, things like that. I'll probably add in, like, a little bit of, like, white here and there to kind of lighten up the shade of black. So I think I'm going to start with the black. And we're just going to, like, lay down some, like, roots and tree branches. And then we'll kind of go over it with a little bit more of some other colors to kind of blend it better. So I'm going to come over and grab some of my black. And we're just going to kind of start out by testing it. I'm going to do some really light shades to just kind of like see how it looks after I first apply it. So I'm going to do it right here. And just kind of blend it in a little bit. Start right there. There we go. And it could be darker. I could probably add a little bit more black than that. And just kind of bring it down along this side over here. Yeah, the art is actually very dark with the black, so I think I can actually comfortably lay down like a thick layer of black, and then just lay over other colors. And the other colors will like darken when I first apply them to the black, but they also will like be better defined if I add like just a little bit more color, make it a little bit thicker, stand out just a little bit more. But we do want those muted colors for these tree roots and things like that. So we'll definitely work on that. Lettuce says, I upgraded this summer a Ryzen 3950, RTX 180. I don't know any of that stuff, bro. I'm sure it means good things. Those are big numbers, and they look great, so I'm sure you're doing just fine, you know? Oh, man. I have a very simple setup, and I definitely don't know any numbers that I could relay to you as to what I'm working with. But I was actually talking to my sister and her husband recently about my quality of computer, so they were actually pretty curious about it. But I mean, I can't remember any of those stats since I last talked to them about it. And that's the thing, too, is because my family is really supportive in me doing, like, all this streaming stuff. It's really cool. My dad and my sister are very, very, like, they're just very excited and interested in what I'm doing. And it's really cool because, like, both my parents, like, pretty much, like, all my family that knows that I'm doing this stuff, think that, like, I need to keep working on it and keep spending time on it and all this stuff. And it's really cool because when I first started, like, doing all this stuff, I didn't think that, you know, it could be this really constructive thing that, you know, is a lot of fun for me and also, like, really keeping me busy and making me feel like that what I love doing really matters. And, like, once I actually started, like, telling them about all the streaming and, like, all the stuff I was doing and all that, they got very deeply invested with it, which is super cool. Because I was just, I don't know, I was just, like, not expecting it. Because, I mean, you know, it's kind of like when you're a kid, or a teenager or whatever, and you have, like, you know, ideas for different things you want to do, and, like, you don't feel like you kind of, like, have, like, ideas of what you want to do, but you don't feel like you're getting, like, the support, and, like, it makes you, like, really question it, and like you're not even sure like if you can do it or not. And like ever since I started, streaming and making YouTube content and like doing all this stuff, um, everybody that I've shown this stuff has been really supportive, and just like my family, the subscribers on here, all that stuff. Like everybody's just been really supportive and really enjoying what I'm doing, and it just makes me want to keep going harder and harder with it. Like I don't want to give it up. I want to just keep working on it, keep improving, things like that. Um, and it's just, I don't know. It's just really nice because I didn't think that it was. I don't know. Like when I first started, like I wasn't even sure if I was going to like make this a regular thing, and now it's like not only is it a regular thing, but it's actually become this like major part of my life now. Like, and it's that I want to just keep going with it and make it constantly better. Um, I don't know. I just really enjoy it, and I really like where I'm at right now, and I hope it keeps progressing and getting better. Stay and play. Hi. Lettuce says I can play Far Cry or Crisis. I mean Crisis, Far. Well, because Far Cry's a game and Crisis is a game, so can you play both of those, or were you mistaking one for the other? I've never played any of those games. I'm not, I don't know. um, oh, excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. I want to play more games, but like at the same time, I also want to keep like working on my painting, and because that's originally one of the first reasons why I even started, doing all this streaming stuff, because I really wanted to focus on painting. And I mean, I want to do other things too. Like here I am, I'm doing cooking and playing a few games and talking about magic cards here and there every once in a while and all sorts of stuff like that. And I just kind of want to keep everything a variety. Like I don't know, a lot of this is based on like what I want to do, and like it's kind of cool that there are people who are like genuinely interested in seeing what I want to do and what I want to spend my time on. So I just want to keep going with it. I just want to keep, doing what I feel like on my channel, and, just being a part of this community and things like that. Because it's definitely, I don't know, like, it's definitely something that has really improved my life, like, overall. Like, because there was a period of time where, before I started doing all this, like, I took off, like, I started setting up so that I have a lot of time to myself to be able to work on this channel and my painting and my art and things like that. And before I started this channel and doing all this streaming, originally I was in a position where I was working like every day, all the time, and I only had like 2, maybe 3 days off every week, which is normal. It's normal. Like, that's what people do and what they want to do. But like, I kept feeling like my life was like missing stuff. Like I felt like I was bored a lot, and I wanted to be constructive, and I wanted to be doing things and like utilizing my time better, and like doing something that just made me feel like that my time mattered, like really mattered. And when I joined, when I built this channel the way that I have it now, and I started, like, spending all my time on it, and, like, all my free time and money and, things like that, I felt like that I had finally found something that made my time feel relevant, Like, I actually, like, since I've built this channel and worked on it, and I'm constantly trying to improve, I feel like that my time is truly relevant to me, and like there's a purpose to it, and like things like that. Like I'm spending all this time building, all of this and working really hard on it, and I feel like that I'm constantly seeing results, and I'm constantly able to spend time with people that I genuinely enjoy spending time with. And I don't know. It's a great feeling. It really is. Because I was kind of depressed before, and like, I mean, I wasn't always depressed. Like, I'm normally a pretty cheery guy. And, it's just that, this really helped me. I don't know if that's what I wanted to do with that black. Kind of move it out of the way. Oh. Trying to make it so the glare is not terrible here. Now I can, like, barely see anything. It's like I moved the light just ever so slightly, and then all of a sudden I can't see anything. So I kind of did this weird black blob here at the top, and I don't really like it. And I did it because of this. There's like this weird little area down here that's kind of all weird and shaded and purple and blackish and stuff like that. And so I started like filling out this whole area full of black, and now I don't know if I really like it. Stay in Place says, this is something I'm slowly getting better at. Any paint recommendations for MTG specifically? Well, like, do you mean like you're trying to get into like painting like this, and you want to like some recommendations as to where to start? Do like what I'm doing, which is like start with basic lands, because basic lands are cheap. They're easy to get. You can get tons of them. They're really pretty to paint. Like, they're a lot of fun to paint, and you don't have to feel bad about like messing them up, because they're just lands. You know, like, who cares if you fuck up a land? You know, because like it's just a crappy land. You know what I mean? But like it gives you a lot of time and a lot of practice, and like you can do stuff like, for example, like a lot of people will, you know, like not do like they'll extend the land, but they'll keep like the box down here where the skull is, you know. And like a lot of people like to do that and have like the full box with the skull and all that. I like to do full art where I paint over the box and everything, and I think that's also like a better way to like further practice your ability to paint and like mesh your colors, because you're giving yourself so much more room to paint. So like it gives you the chance to like see more color, recognize how to blend things better. It gives you a little more creative direction because you can add things in with more space and things like that. But I highly recommend starting with like land cards, because it's a great, like, because you don't feel bad if you mess up. Like, if you start with like a rare card or a card that people really like and you like make it look ugly, like I mean, it's probably not that big of a deal, but at the same time, like, you know, it feels kind of weird when you take like a really nice card and like you're just practicing on it, and then it's like, well, you know, that was a really nice card, but because I'm practicing on it, it's not that nice anymore. So I just basically I pretty much just focused on lands, and like I did a couple tokens, and to start with, like token cards, land cards, and then I started working on like common cards and like a few uncommons and things like that. And I've only done a few rare cards, like a few really nice cards, you know. But that's just like how I do it, because I feel a lot more comfortable working on cards that I know won't matter if I mess them up, you know. But then, you know, I have people who are like, oh my god, like, your art is great. Like, I want to, like, spend my money on a really nice card that I want you to paint. And, like, I will do that, because I'm actually at a level where I'm comfortable with my ability to paint. So I don't mind painting cards like that for, like, people who want to, like, you know, have something nice. And I usually, like I said, I always like to take really good care when I'm painting stuff like that, because, you know, they're nice cards. But, I mean, for general purposes, like, for example, here I am on a stream, having a good time chatting with my friends, you know, just painting for the sake of painting. I just pick a basic land, you know? Like, and I paint common cards, too, and uncommon cards and stuff like that. But I just, you know, I don't like to paint really nice cards because I get all paranoid about it. The only time I paint really nice cards is when somebody, like, you know, wants me to paint a nice card for them. Stay in Place says, I'm pretty good at removing the ink already. It's more the stencil and new paint I'm unsure about. Like, Warhammer paint is good, but is it good for cardboard clay composites? So modeling paint is great for magic cards. Um, but I use like acrylics, like regular acrylic paints, and they do just fine. Like I like them. I am getting into higher quality paints too, though. Like I'm not just only using acrylics. I'm slowly getting my way into. I want to teach myself like what's it called? Oils and stuff like that. I'm mixing a color. I'm just making a purple, by the way. I'm trying to make it as similar to the previous purple I had, so I'm not really showing it on camera right now. Uh, but yeah, I prefer acrylics. They're easier to work with. They're great for teaching color. They're great for practicing, and they look great on cards. Like they look fine. Like I think they look awesome. Stay in Place says I use bulk foils or basic lands. Yeah, I mean, I've never done a foil alteration before. I don't know what that would be like. Um, I've seen people do it, but I have no experience with it at all. I'm trying to like lighten up this black with this purple, and I think my purple's too dark, so I'm gonna lighten it up some more. Maybe I'll add like a little bit of white. I think I might do that. Hey, Helix is hanging out with us. Good to see you, man. Thanks for jumping in. We also got MTG Apprentice. I saw you subscribe to me this morning, so thank you so much, MTG Apprentice, for joining my channel and joining in on the fun. Really appreciate it, man. And Same Place says Master Sets and Theros block got pretty cheap common foils. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely painted a few different. I have like a lot of iconic Masters cards, so I have been actually like painting those here and there. And like they're good cards too. Like I mean, you know, considering they're like the bulk cards of like iconic Masters, they usually like look nice and they're fun to paint. And the fact that I have so many of them makes me like not care, you know, like if I mess them up. Ah, there's the purple I was looking for. There we go. But yeah, definitely like just keep working on bulk stuff, and then like you can like there was a period of time where I first began and all I did was paint lands, and then like I got to a point of where the lands I was painting looked good enough that I was comfortable with trying other things, you know? And that's the main thing, is you kind of have to be comfortable with your own level of art. Like, I'm not saying be a perfectionist, like, because I'm definitely not a perfectionist. But I do like to have, like, a level of comfort where I'm like, yeah, this quality is nice. Like, I'm going to keep working on this, and, you know, I'm going to constantly improve, but I also feel like I can move up to the next level and do something a little nicer. Oh, Magic Historian decided to walk in, huh? According to the rules of MTG, you can't actually use this as it's upside down. Yeah, it's an upside down print, I know. Those darn upside down prints, you know, you can't use them in tournaments. By the way, Mike, gotta show you real quick. There's the sexy boy. There's the sexy boy. Look at the sexy boy. He's so grumpy. Look at his grumpy face. Look at his grumpy face. Dude, I fucking love this mug. It's my favorite. Oh, man. Yeah, I woke up this morning and made myself coffee, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to use my Boss Monster mug today. That's right. I have the special guest. Today's special guest is the Magic Historian joining me on a painting session today. Oh, so good. But yeah, I love that mug. I don't use it that often because it's really small, but every once in a while I really get in the mood to use it, like just cuz. Alright, so the black that I've done is a lot better blended, now that I've added this new shade of purple. I'm also going to add some more black. Just not up, like, all wide and awkward out here. But I am going to, like, add some stuff here. It's kind of, like, have it reaching out a little bit. Like some little branches kind of, like, poking out in different areas. And then, there we go. Just kind of, like, light little branches here and there. And, let's see. Yeah, perp is everywhere. Pimp My Cup Hot Spicy Habanero Edition. It's true. Dude, I love coffee accessories. I actually, like, I have, like, a small collection of mugs that are, like, my favorite. And I'm actually really picky about, like, what kind of mugs I keep and what kind of mugs I use. Um, I have, like, very specific taste. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I have, like, three mugs that are all like Starbucks mugs, but they're all very specific and they look a certain way, and that's why I like them. But I do like to actually, I don't know, coffee is like my serious hardcore drug addiction. So like I'm very particular about like what I'm using to make my coffee and like how I'm drinking my coffee and what I'm drinking my coffee out of. It's kind of a big deal to me. Like if you ever become um, like a hardcore coffee addict like myself, you get pretty particular about what you're drinking your coffee out of. This color is not quite right. I mean, it's a dark black that I've added in, and it's just a little too dark. So I'm going to have to, like, probably change the color up a little bit, just so it's not as dark as it naturally came out right here. So I'm probably going to... I'm also swiping it so that I can make it look like leaves and stuff, because these are like small leafy branches down here at the bottom. You can kind of see it right there with the different coloration. There's like some purple, some pink, some yellow, some green, so we're going to kind of change the coloration on that a little bit so that it blends in just a little bit nicer. It doesn't look all funky with all that black coloration. We'll get to it though. Like I said, like I'm trying to like lay down base colors. I want things to blend first, like with their base colors, and then add in the details as we go along. But yeah, the blacks are really good to start with here for this in particular. I'm actually adding in just a little bit of this purple. I'm going to kind of like very, very carefully just darken it down a little bit. That gives it closer to that lower color that we have going on over here. And there's still a black tinge to it, but it's better blended, it fits nicer, it just looks better. So you can kind of see it right there, like just a little bit how it's like better blended in with this portion down here. And we will add like the yellows and the oranges and things like that to get it, just to like, you know, we're blending. That's what we're doing. Pull out your blender and blend it. Another thing I really want to do that I'm seeing that's kind of cool looking is I want to add like a tiny swipe of black, just like kind of like right here. Just like that. Right there. There we go. Just maybe like a little bit more over here as well. I'm just trying to get those branches to really pop out and kind of like stand out against the purple. So now I'm going to bring in some light black over here and add some of these branches off to the side. There we go. There we go. What's really curious to me is I have no idea what I'm going to do with this skeleton down here. It's a little crazy. It's wacky. Like, it's got, like, these green, like, looking sickly bones, and I'm kind of, like, interested in, like, messing around with that. But at the same time, I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. I mean, green is kind of a complicated color to, like, get into when you're painting like this. Especially with all these darker colors and these, like, purples and things like that. It's going to be a little weird to make it stick out, right? I think I am going to add some black and some purple down on the lower layer, like the lower area where the skull is over here. So I'm going to just kind of like carefully swipe it all across. And I'm trying to be like really streaky and light with it so that it blends better. Like you can still kind of see some of the purple tinge like down in the black. And that's really what I'm going for, is I'm trying to, like, get the black to still blend in with the purple. And that's the thing with that, is that when your color is too thick, you just spread it really, really thin. Spread it really thin, and it'll just kind of mesh better in with the rest of it. And I am going to add some more black because I want to get up towards the skeleton area. Maybe I should add in the green before I add in the black on that portion. So I think that's what I'm going to do for that. So I'm going to instead kind of like work on this portion. I want it to kind of like blend just a little bit better, kind of go off to the side in like a pattern. Kind of makes it look like the water is flowing alongside of it. Magic Historian says, I come here for the talk of spreading. Dude, you gotta spread. Gotta spread. If they don't spread them, then you're not gonna get them. That's just how it is. Spread them and get them, boys. Heard it here. Habanero. Spread them and get them. First quote of the 2020 for Habanero. Spread them and get them. Alright, so I've kind of added this black. It's a lot lighter over here, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. So I'm going to kind of do the same effect over here off to the side, because we have this tree and we will define the roots better. But I also want it to look like it actually ends into the swamp, so that it's got like the lighter swampy color going on. So I'm just very lightly kind of like adding the black coloration into the water, the purple water going on over here. Just like that, and that looks a lot nicer. There we go. So he's kind of adding like a shading effect kind of going on there. So next I'm going to, what am I going to do here? I think I want to kind of like develop an actual pink color and kind of start working on this stuff as well as the stuff at the top. I've done a lot with the black, and I'm feeling kind of done with it right now, so like let's move on to some brighter colors. That's what I really want to do. So I'm going to wet the brush, and we're going to move this swamp out of the way. Swamp. Something me and my friends do when we play Cube is like when we play swamps, we're just like, swamp. It's a swamp. Okay, so bring the palette back over. And I want to kind of do like I want to do a couple different things. So I think I want to start with this purple that I have built over here, right here on the side. You can see my brush in it, this guy right here. And I'm going to kind of place it here, I guess. I think that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to lighten it up a lot. So we're going to add some white and get it to be a really light purple. And then after that, we're probably going to make like a really light muted pink. So I want to get some of this white over here and just really, really add it into that purple. Get it really light colored. And we don't need, you might notice it's like a teeny, teeny, tiny little dab of paint. I don't think I'm going to need very much of it, which is why I don't want to like use a bunch of it. But I do want to make sure that there's a good enough portion so that it doesn't immediately like dry out. Because if it's too thin, it's just going to dry out. I think let me kind of experiment with the tiny purple I just now made. So I'm going to bring this guy back over here, and we're going to test out this purple, see how it looks. I'm going to start with it right about here, just to kind of. So okay, so this purple that I built here. Let me bring you guys down closer to what I'm doing. So it's blending in with this top portion here, but it's too dark for this lighter pink portion, which is what I was expecting. So I'm going to just kind of fill it out into these various different areas right here, and just to kind of get it closer to this color over here in the middle. And it is blending. Like, I can very clearly see that it is nicely blending with the rest of it. And like I said, this was only just like kind of experimenting with this color, so I'm not super ready to like throw it in everywhere. I want to get the other pink color going as well. So let's bring the palette back over. We will come back to this. Throw that yellow over wherever I feel like. We will come back to this purple. However, I want to get this pink started, so that way I have access to it and I can just kind of throw it in wherever I might need it. So, where did I... Aha! There it is. I need my little clean cloth here to wipe my brush on. And I'm going to bring in this red that I have here, and we're going to put it right there. And I'll do a little bit more of it. There we go. That's a good amount of red. And then we're going to add in the white. And we're going to make like a nice little pink color. Now, it should be pretty muted. I don't think it's going to be heavy, heavy. Uh-oh. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. I have a wet toothpick, and it just fell into my water. So, the wet toothpick is also really important tool. I just don't need it right now. I might need to get a new one, because if it's falling off of my cup and going into the water, that might mean that it's about done. Might need to get a new one. Okay, so back to what I was working on. We're going to get this white coloration. This white. Give me my white. Oh, I'm making my white pink. That's not what I wanted. Let me just kind of... Well, whatever. It happens. I'll try to be extra careful with my white now that I've accidentally colored it pink, but should be fine. Should be totally fine. That's still too red, so we're going to add more white. More white is needed. I need like a pink mist kind of color, like pink fog almost. We might add black to kind of gray it out. I don't know. It just kind of depends. Like I said, I like to apply it first to see how it's, you know, affecting everything, and then I will change it based on that information. This is still too bright. There's still way too much like brightness to this pink. So we're gonna add more white. More white, I say. More. There we go. Let's see how that works. That looks better. I think that looks better. All right, I think I'm going to test this out because that looks actually pretty decent. So let's get the painting back, and we're going to try this paint out. We're going to try this pink, and we're going to see how it works. So I am relative. Oh, I'm worried it's too bright. Just by looking at it from like the comparison of the brush to the purple. I'm going to try to be extra light with it. Let me kind of rub it off here. Try to be super careful with it. Oh, that's not too bad. That's really not that bad at all, actually. I guess maybe if I add a little bit of white, it'll blend better. But it's very close to what I need it to be. So if I try to just be really light with it in this lower... Here, let me bring you guys down. So this is where I've added it right here. And get it nice and close for you guys. So this is where I've added it. And I was really nervous that it was going to be too bright, so I decided to get really light with the shading. And it's close to where I want it to be, but you can see that as we get lower here, it's getting whiter. So I am going to add white to it. I'm going to keep this particular shade. But I think if I add like a misting effect with the white, it's going to look nicer, like it really is. All right, Magic Historian, thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate you having you here, man. You rock. I'll see you in tonight's stream, buddy. I might be lurking, but, you know. That's my thing about being in streams is I have this weird thing where I don't like to just speak for the sake of speaking when I'm in a stream. I'm kind of... I only like to say things if it's like, if I have something constructive to say, you know, in a stream. So I, you know, usually keep really quiet in most streams, unless I have something that's actually relevant to what's going on, or that's relatively, I don't know, just interesting, I guess. I just don't like to talk just for this. Like, I mean, in my streams, here I am talking for the sake of talking, you know? But if I'm in like a stream where like there's a chat log and I'm chatting with other people, I only really like to talk if something is relevant and I have something constructive to say. Because a lot of the time, like, you know, like I like reading the chat log and I like paying attention to what people are talking about. But I don't always have something constructive to say about what is happening in the actual chat. So it just kind of depends. It really does. So I've added this white, and it looks really nice down here where it's supposed to be, but I also kind of tried to blend it in with this purple, and it made this purple way too bright white. So we're going to add in more purple. And I'm going to use that really nice, light toned purple that I made on the camera just a few minutes ago. So we're just going to carefully add that in. It blends so nice. Oh, this purple's wonderful. Oh, that looks so good. I'm so happy about how this particular area looks right here. That looks great. I'm very proud of that. All right. That's another thing about doing art like this. Know when to be proud. When you see a coloration come in and you're like, oh, that looks good. Just be proud about it. Just take a moment and be proud that you accomplished that, because it's tough. Like, especially stand play, because you said you're just now kind of getting into painting and stuff like that. Like, blending your colors is really hard if you do it the way that I do it. So when you get that right blend that you really need, like, you know, really take the moment to, like, appreciate it, because it's hard work, man. Getting that right coloration that you need is just, it's a little tough sometimes. And, like, there are times where you might have to, like, go over it multiple times before you get it to, like, look right. So, when you do get it right, appreciate it. I remember, like, the first few times, like, when, like, because I have some early, I still have my early paintings that I did of, like, cards. They're butt ugly. They are so butt ugly. But, I keep them and I love them because they show me, like, how I've improved over time. And, one of the things is I always remember when I first started blending things really well. There was one particular land that I did where I was still very new. It was like the third or fourth, like, card I ever painted, and I figured out how to, like, blend my colors really well, and it was like the first really nice card I ever painted, and I was so proud of it. Like, I just really just I'll never get rid of it. Like, I'll never sell it or anything, and it doesn't even look that great compared to stuff that I do now, but at the time that I made it, it was such a big deal to me because I never understood how to, like, do that kind of stuff until I had actually done it while experimenting with coloration and things like that on that particular painting. And that's another thing to this too, when you're getting into this stuff. Don't be afraid to experiment. Like, that's why I say, like, start with, like, basic lands and, like, tokens and, like, you know, crappy common cards and stuff like that. Because you can feel more comfortable with experimenting, and you don't feel bad when you make a mistake, you know, because it's just a crappy card. So, like, experiment with things, try new techniques. Another thing I do, too, is, so I have a, like, it's in the description below. So I have a DeviantArt profile page, and I love that website. And, like, yeah, it's a great way for me to show off my artwork and things like that. But one of the things that I absolutely love about that website is you can go on there and you can look up other artists who are, like, working on things, you know, and things like that. And they show, like, their finished products, and they show, like, you know, paintings that they're working on and things like that. And the thing I love is I actually learned all sorts of interesting techniques from going on that website and, like, looking over art and just studying artwork of other people. And that's made a major impact on my own artwork. And that's a big deal. Like, I mean, it's always okay to, like, try new things. It's always good to, like, take inspiration from other artists. I mean, I never try to exactly copy any other artist, but there are a lot of different artists, especially that I've, you know, like, I've viewed their artwork on DeviantArt. And a lot of them have inspired me to, like, try different things and experiment different things. And just, like, learn techniques that I've never learned before. Like, there was one artist that I feel bad because I can't remember the person's name off the top of my head, but there was a artist who did magic altars, and they had this really nifty technique that I learned a lot from that taught me a lot about shading and, like, light and stuff like that. And I had never really had much experience with messing around with lighting and shading and things like that in my artwork until I started, like, really carefully going over that artist's style and things like that. And I have, like, experimented with it a lot in, like, there were a couple of pieces that I did where that was like my focus. Like I copied, like not copied, I did a basic recreation of what they did while changing a few things so it wasn't an exact copy. And in the process of recreating that piece, it taught me how they played with lighting in their painting. So like this artist would do like really interesting cloud fixtures where he would lay down a layer of gray and then lay down a layer of white and then do orange and yellow for sunlight effects, and then would lay more white and gray over the top of it so that it all blends in together. And I had never done anything like that until I watched that artist do that with his painting. It was very interesting. Learned a lot from that guy. I still like kind of use like a lot of the techniques that I use. I mean, that artist doesn't do streams or videos like I do. He only shows like the finished product, but I could tell how he does it, like a basic idea of how he's doing it, and then I can recreate it and then memorize the process of like how he was able to do that, and then I'm able to show you guys like how I do it. So I don't even actually know if it actually is like if how I do it is in fact the way that he does it, but I am able to recreate it just enough that I can like relay it to you guys in the way that I've done it. You know what I mean? So, like, I love that stuff. I love that website, and I love, like, for example, Seb McKinnon is on DeviantArt. I don't know if you guys know that, but you can go onto DeviantArt, and Seb McKinnon has his own profile on there, and you can look at, like, all sorts of different art pieces he's working on there. So if you're a big fan of Seb McKinnon, you can go to DeviantArt and go on his page and look at what he's working on, and it's always spectacular. And you get really nice, because it's coming directly from him, so you get really nice blown up like versions of like his paintings and digital art and stuff like that. And there's a few others that I like, other magic artists that I really like that are on there. Like, not everybody's on there, but there are some pretty big ones on there. Like I said, Seb McKinnon's on there. Hellex says, that all relates too closely to my sex life. It could be considered DeviantArt. Yeah, their name is ridiculous. That's another thing, too, about DeviantArt that I've had to learn the hard way, is be careful what you look up on DeviantArt. Be careful what you type into their search engine. There's a lot of porn. There's a lot of porn on DeviantArt. You just got to be careful with like what kind of things you look up, but there is a lot of porn on that site, so you got to be careful with it. But I mean, I like it. Like, I mean, you can put like age restrictions and stuff like that. Like, I don't. Simply because there's a lot of really beautiful, like, modern art on there that's, well, not modern, but, like, there's a lot of, like, I will admit I've seen, like, a lot of, like, ugly nudity, but there's also some, like, tasteful nudity on there, too. So, like there are some that you'll see on there where it's just like, dude, you're just making something pornographic, you know? And then there are other times where, like, you'll see something that's like, no, that's really tasteful. Like, it's very well done. Like, there's a beautiful naked woman, and it was painted very well, you know, and it's very nice looking. Like, I've seen sketches and, like, charcoal art and stuff like that. I love charcoal art, by the way. I love charcoal art. I want to get into that. I haven't gotten into it, but I really want to. But yeah, there's some tasteful nudity on DeviantArt, but there's also like a lot of stuff that's just straight up porn. Like, there's no getting around it. It's porn, like, you know. So you just kind of have to be very careful with what you look into on DeviantArt. I mean, unless that's what you're into. I don't know. I mean, if you're into like the weird stuff that goes on that site, then by all means, you know, do you. But me personally, I have very specific taste. And I mean, here's the thing, like, you know, like, there's plenty of porn out there. Like, I don't need porn on my DeviantArt page. Like, it's just not a thing I need. It's, you know. It's a hobby site for me, you know? That's how I see it. And it's like, I don't need any porn on my hobby site. I'm good. I'm good. Oh, man. Oh, come on, Lettuce. Come on, man. Just naming off, like, all the fetishes. Good God, dude. Come on, man. Oh, Jesus. So apparently that site would be right up Lettuce's alley, apparently. Apparently he's super into that. Good to know, bro. Good to know. Alright, I'm just adding a little bit of this white, and I'll kind of tone it down a little bit. And I'll probably use my little light purple that I got going on here. I'm almost out of it. I didn't make very much of it, so I'm trying to be very careful with how I use it. It's a little too dark. It's kind of... it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I also kind of want to add some over here just to kind of tone down this pink a little bit more. It's all blending in very nicely, so I'm pretty happy with it. And, let's see. I think I want to finally, like, really get on to... Well, you know what? You know what would look really kind of cool? Just now realizing this. If I could, like, do some white up here at the top, and then lay over, like, a layer of, like, the pink and maybe a little bit of purple, it might kind of give a more, like, gloomy, cloudy effect I'm feeling. So I'm going to try that really quick. We're going to lay down some white up here at the top. I'm going to go very light with how much I put in. So, just going to kind of be very careful with it. Just like that. And then I will add in some more purple to it to kind of, like maybe the lighter purple I'm thinking. Or maybe the darker purple. It's kind of hard to tell. Kind of get a good angle on it so you guys can see what kind of shenanigans I'm up to. You know, it's all good, Lettuce. You know, you do you, brother. You do you, brother. It's all fine. Oh my god, sometimes, man. Sometimes. Oh, Jesus. Alright, so I'm going to try and be super light with this purple. I'm going to try and be very careful with it. Not too heavy on the coloration. I do want it to kind of have like a murky kind of look to it. I think that looks alright. It kind of adds like a bit of a gloomy effect. Here, let me kind of bring you guys down closer so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Let me kind of... There we go. Yeah, see, that looks pretty nice. That looks pretty nice. I'm also realizing that maybe I could blend in my purple a little bit better down here in particular. So I'm going to try and do that just a little bit. The pink that I've got going over here is pretty nice, actually. I can get it to look really good. Just kind of get it to... I don't know. It is a little bit bright, so I think I'm going to tone it down with a little bit of purple. Just to darken it a smidge. So I don't want to add black. I'm worried that the black will kind of mess it up really bad. So we're just going to add like a little bit of purple just to darken it. I'll show you guys on the camera. Here it is. The little purple I'm kind of building up here. Little tiny guy. Little tiny guy. And I'm going to try and blend it right up here at the top. That looks pretty nice. Yeah. And then I can kind of like streak it up at the top just a little bit. There we go. That's blending it much, much nicer. Yeah, so that little tiny bit of purple really went a long way for that pink. So I'm really happy about that. Also kind of put it in just a little bit down here as well. Just like that. And a little bit over here as well. There. That looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm liking that. Oh god, this light is driving me nuts. Okay. Trying to like make it so it's not super glary, you know? I think I want to get that green going. Now this is going to be wild because this green is really... The green they have going on over here is really crazy. I think... Hold on, I'm going to try something else real quick. I'm going to lay down a tiny bit of gray, and then a little bit of white, just a teeny tiny amount of white. And I think that's going to help make the green color pop a lot more. Unless, of course, I get the gray all over my fingertip. Get that off of me. There we go. And I'm going to wet the brush. And we're going to work on some gray here. I think it's going to like look really nice on the branches. Make them stand out just a little bit better. Because they kind of have like this weird little gray effect going on some of the branches. You can see it like right alongside here. So I'm going to kind of just very carefully add just a little... Ooh, that's very bright. Okay, let's kind of... Ooh, I'm not sure about... Ooh. Oh no! I'm not sure about this anymore, boys. Okay, just trying to carefully blend it in better. And I can darken it, it's fine. I'll definitely darken it. But if we can just get it to kind of start... Oh, that's actually looking a lot better. See, because I've gotten lighter with it up closer to the top. So it is actually kind of blending a lot better now that it's lighter in shade. But we are going to have to darken this area right here because that is way, way too bright. That's okay, though, because we can still add it in along these sides. And it's kind of giving like an old, withered appearance to the branches, which is very nice. Just like that. Makes them stand out just a little bit more. This really pisses me off, though. I did that, and I was like, this should be fine. And then sure enough, there's, it's way too bright. Okay, so now I'm going to have to add a little bit of black, because I want to fix that big gray mess that I just made. And we don't need a lot of black, just like a little bit of black, just a little bit. So we're going to kind of add that in, and that's going to darken it just enough. There we go. And I'm being very streaky with it. You'll notice that I'm making like lots of little streaks. The streaks are also allowing me to kind of let the gray stay, but like also make it look more gnarled. So like a gnarly tree, So if you guys can see that, I'm going to kind of see if I can get it to focus a little bit better. Yeah, so that's looking a lot nicer. It's kind of darkening up the gray a little bit. Adds just like a little tiny streaky effect. I'm just kind of trying to be very light with it. There we go. Yeah. So now we've got this nice little graying effect. Let me see if I can kind of blend it just right here, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Come on. Come on. There. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to add in... You know what? I'm going to add a little bit of gray as well over onto the other side. This branch right here that you guys can see. Probably not too much. I don't want to get too crazy with this gray because... The gray's a little brighter than I thought it would be. It's just a little bit brighter than I originally intended. So I'm going to try to be pretty careful with it. I'm just trying to add some like streaks. And the streaks are allowing it to look more like like the age of the tree, because it's a rotting tree, so kind of makes it look all gnarled and aged and stuff like that. So we're just kind of adding that in. I'll put a little bit up here at the top as well. Just a little bit. There we go. I'll put some over here as well. Just like that. There. That looks a lot nicer. And then we will add in the sickly green color, which I have not made yet, so we're going to make that next. So I'm going to pull you guys out. And I'm going to move this card out of the way. And we're going to bring back my palette. And we're going to make a brand new color. We're going to make the sickly green color that we got going on. By the way, I just remembered I should probably check something. No, we're good. Okay. I just had to check something on my phone for a second. Because I remembered I got like a notification, but I wanted to make sure that the notification wasn't something super important. Because you never know. You never know. Okay, green. Green, green, green. Okay. So, let me kind of get like a really good view of this green real quick. So this green color that we got going on for this particular piece is like this weird kind of gooey, grassy, mossy green. looks like it's bright in some areas and then kind of darker in some other areas. So we might have to like make a couple of different greens here. Not totally sure yet, but we are going to have to apply it to multiple places. We're going to have to put it on these bones. We're going to have to put it on the trees, just in all sorts of different spots. So let's see what we can get going on here. Okay. So first thing I like to do is I like to use, you guys are going to watch me use a fancy paint. So this is my Phthalo Green. It's kind of like my go-to color when I need to use blues and greens. Like if I'm heavy blue on something, I'll use this green to like make a proper blue color. It's also just great for making green. This is one of the few paints I use that is a very specific color. I usually change it by like adding other things to it, but this is like one of my most commonly used specialty paints. It's also a high quality paint too. So the other paints I have are kind of like, you know, cheap quality paints. This is a super high quality one. It's pretty expensive. This was given to me as a gift with a whole set of high quality paints from my stepmother. So I just like to add like a teeny tiny little dab. I'll put it like right here. I don't like to use a lot of this paint because it's very high quality, and I just like to use just enough to get me by. There we go. Yeah, that's enough. I don't think I'm going to use any more than that. That's probably the exact amount I need. So I'll go ahead and close that up and throw it off to the side, and we are going to take this green, and I'm kind of like trying to get another view of like how the green looks. So what's interesting is it looks really dark down here and then lighter up closer to the top. So now I know that this green is going to have like a how do I say it, like more of a bluish color than a greenish color. So just to make sure, I'm going to take a little bit of this green and I'm going to lightly color it on my palette just to make sure that I know that that's the color it's going to make. Yeah, so it's very bluish, so we are going to have to change it. So we're going to take this green and we are going to just kind of move it over here because I want to keep it separate from the rest of my green because I might need that. And we are going to add, what do I need to add? Maybe some more, maybe some yellow? I think yellow might be the go-to for this particular one. Whoa! Almost exploded on me. We're going to take this little bit of yellow, we're going to throw it right there, and we are going to grab that yellow, and we're going to throw it right over here, and we're going to make it a sharp, like gooey kind of green color going on. Like it's kind of got that slimy green color that we want. And I think that might be right. Let me kind of take a look here. I think it's worth a try. So let's go ahead and we're gonna get the palette out of the way. I'm gonna try it out and see how it works. There's multiple different ways I can darken it if it's too bright. But I think what I want to do is I think I want to kind of start with it on the black branches up here. So we're going to, I'll kind of start like right there. Right there. Oh, I can't even see that. I can definitely see that. Yeah. I don't know. See, because it's not showing up bright enough for me to be able to have like an actual opinion on its appearance. It looks like it's kind of too dark. So like I might have to actually either add white or yellow to it. Not really sure. Not really sure. It's definitely too dark. Way too dark. Okay, so we're going to add some white. We're going to add some white to the color, and I think that's going to help out a lot. So let me kind of move this out of the way for a minute. And I'm going to bring this guy back over so we can kind of see how I'm changing it. So I'm going to take some of this white color, which is all sorts of other colors that it shouldn't be. And we're going to add the white. And I added a big chunk of white because I think I need this color to be much, much brighter. I think that's going to be a big deal. So, and if I have to, I can either start over or I can like add something to it to make it darker. But I think that getting it to this like really bright green color is going to be the way that we need this to be. So I'm going to try it out again and we'll see what happens. Because that color was way off. It was way too dark. So let me bring you guys back down in here. And we're just going to try it out and we're going to see what happens. So, I mean, my first thought is it is way too bright. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it and I'm going to add gray. And the gray is going to tone down the color and darken it. But I think that this limeish green color that I have going here is about right if I just add like a layer of gray on the top. So we're gonna try and mess around with that. I don't want to get too deep with this green yet because I want to see how it looks with the gray layered on top. It's kind of like I don't want to go all crazy with it and then realize it doesn't work right. So let's go ahead and we're gonna grab some gray, which is almost gone. There we go. I got a little bit left in there. Okay, so let me kind of see how it looks with this gray layered on top of it. If I kind of just... Not sure. Really not sure about this one. Kind of bring you guys down just a little bit closer. Just a little bit closer so you guys can kind of see the kind of stuff I'm running into. So, like, it looks closer to what I want it to be, but now I'm thinking I need to darken it more, and I don't really... I mean, I could add black. I could do that. I'm just not sure. It might have to be a really faded layer of black, and I'm just not sure about that. But then the problem becomes is that the gray is also too bright. That's what it comes down to. Is because if I have to darken it with a layer of black, like a faded black color, and that means the gray is too bright. So I might have to literally... And my gray I've already established is like almost really dry. So I might have to just straight up make a whole new layer, like a whole new thing of close to the moss at the top. Yeah, it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. I'm more concerned about like the light green colors up here on these branches alongside of here and also closer down here towards these roots. And it's like, it's hard to tell because it's like, it's got this muted brown color with also green layered on top. And it's very difficult to get that to be that way. And making a brown is a major pain in the butt too. Like, I mean, I know how to make a brown. I can probably spend a bunch of time like shading it to be the right kind of brown, but it's such a pain in the butt. Okay, I'm going to try something. So I'm going to try to darken my green that I made. So let me get you guys out. Let me kind of put this over here. And so you guys can see my bright green color that I have here. I'm going to try and take a swab of it and bring it over here. And then I'm going to add just an itsy-bitsy, teeny-tiny, itty-bitty amount of black to it. To kind of get it to just be just dark enough. Just dark enough. So, teeny-tiny amount of black, itty-bitty, barely there. We're just going to kind of darken that green to get it. It's more kind of like a light olive green color now. And I got to be careful. I don't want to use all of it on my single brush. So that looks all right, I guess. I think. So let's kind of experiment and see where we can get with this. So I'm going to bring you guys down nice and close. Nice and close. And we're going to try this new olive green color. So it's too bright here, but then I added some layers over here, and that actually looks alright. So I think if I'm really light with it, it looks fine. Yeah. I'm looking at it in the camera. The camera, like I've told you guys this before, the camera's like a second set of eyes. It's got a lot of clarity to it. So if I'm unsure with my eyes, I can look in the camera, and the camera's giving me like a second perspective. And I think it looks a lot better with this particular shade of green that I've added. So I'm going to add some up here, and maybe a little bit over here, just like that. I do think that looks a lot better. I might add some like streaks of black to kind of section off like the area, like to kind of give it like some pattern to it. Let's see here. This is a complicated one. Greens are always really hard to do. Like greens in particular, I've learned. In fact, that's part of one of the reasons why I like that special tube that I have of the Patholo Green, is because green is hard, man. It's hard to get it right. I remember like green and blue. Blue is really hard too. In fact, that's why I use that Patholo Green to make blue. Like, it's really ridiculous. Usually I take like the Patholo Green and add a dab, and then I'll take like my really dark blue color, like this guy right here, this blue right here, the ultramarine, and I'll mix like a little bit of the ultramarine in with the Patholo Green to get it to be like a proper blue coloration that isn't too dark. So it can get pretty difficult to get it right. I need black again. So we're going to add, we're going to do a few things with this black. So the first thing I want to do is I want to kind of add like some like darkish blackish areas around here, kind of like that. I guess this is into like detailing a little bit, which is, you know, I normally like to do all the detailing close to the end of the painting, but I think that in order to get these colors blended right, we're going to have to add some of these details right now. That also darkens up this particular spot right here, which looks a lot better. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. That's looking so much better. I can see it in the camera that it's looking a lot better with those, with that added black. Just kind of, let me get a little bit more going here. Okay. Whoop. A little too much, but that's okay. So I'm going to add some black here, just kind of like, you know, like adding these little streaks here and there, kind of blend it better. Oh, it's out of focus again. Get you guys nice and, oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Kind of change the lighting just a little bit so I can see it a little clearer, and hopefully you guys can see it a little clearer. This is just a really tough part of this when you're trying to get these colors to blend right. It can be a little tough. Need that black again. Because I'm doing such light layers of this black, it goes very quick. Runs out very quickly. So you just kind of have to be sparing with it and dip frequently when you need to. Dip in the paint, I mean. See, I want those to be a little sharper. Like sharper in definition when I say that. So like this area down here, this area up here, and this area down here. Like these branches are driving me nuts because I'm just trying to get them to be just the right appearance. And they're just a little streaky, and I don't really like how streaky they look, you know? Helfer Gamer says, gotta go take the pooch for a walk. I'll check back in after. Okay. Well, I'm probably going to be wrapping this up in about, let's see, about 16 minutes. Usually these go on for, like, these cards can take, like, 2 or 3 parts because I spend a lot of time getting the colors right and stuff like that. For any of you guys who used to be in my really early, like, painting streams, like the really old ones that I used to do, I used to do the whole card in one go, and I would have, like, a 4 or 5 hour stream. Drove me insane. Like, I loved it, but it would absolutely wear me out just sitting in front of the camera for, like, you know, like, 5 hours straight, which I've done before. But I used to do that. And, like, if you go back and watch my older streams, it was pretty nuts. I'm glad I'm not doing that anymore because it used to take a lot out of me. So I'm just still adding some more black. Just trying to get these branches right. They're funky little branches. I think that looks pretty decent right there. Like up there at the top. Maybe I'll add some more of that grayish green over to the other side as well. So we're going to get a little bit of that going. And I'm going to... Actually, you know what? Let's work on this side. This side needs some loving. This side needs some loving over here. I'm still trying to be very light with this green because it's kind of... It's just a little bit not quite right, so I have to be very careful with how I use it. Because I know that I can go over it with some black and stuff like that, and that helps a lot. But if I can get away with it, I'd rather just kind of be very light with the green and not have to worry about fixing it later. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I'm kind of just adding in these little root effects, which actually look pretty nice. I think they look decent. Yeah. Yeah, that looks super nice in the camera. I like that. I really like that. I'm also realizing that I think I want more black up here at the top. Alright, Lettuce, you better go over and you better watch my videos. I'm telling you, brother. More material to add to your collection. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm going to just keep on adding some more of this. I'm kind of adding it down here into this little area. Kind of connecting these little root areas down here. And some right there. I'm just trying to be really light with these... Oh, well, that one was a little bit bigger than I wanted. But I am trying to be a little bit lighter with these little streaks and stuff like that. Because they're supposed to look like little teeny tiny branches. So the lighter you get with them, as long as they're properly defined, like in other words, as long as you can clearly see them, it doesn't really matter how thick they are in the lines. So I'm just trying to make sure that they are clear enough, but also small enough. That's looking pretty decent. Getting pretty happy with this. Pretty darn happy with this. Let's see if I could just add like a couple of sharp streaks, like maybe like right here. Yeah, and maybe like right there. I kind of like getting the sharp defined lines, you know? Like they don't have to be like big thick ones. They're just like I can do like a thick root and then just have one sharp line standing out in that thick root, and it looks like that's where the light's hitting on it, even though it's bigger. So it kind of makes it have a nicer effect when you're looking at it. There we go. Looking very swampy. Looking very swampy. I kind of want to go back to black again. I think I'm going to go back to black. Black has been a lifesaver for this particular painting. So I'm going to kind of bring some black back in up here at the top area. I think I kind of, let's see. Yeah, probably like right about here. Just kind of add in some more gnarly effects. There we go. Maybe a little bit there, a little bit there. I also kind of want to like redefine this particular spot a little bit better. I made a little bit thicker, I'm just not sure about it. This is like a really complex, like this particular corner that I'm working on with this gnarled tree. It's pretty complex. Let's see here. Oh, that purple's dead, isn't it? Oh, that sucks. Well, I don't really want to recreate it right now. Maybe I'll just keep working with this green just a little bit more. Because if I can kind of, like, add it right here, just, like, really light streaks, it can look a little bit more natural and a little bit less funky. There. Yeah, I think that looks alright. Maybe just a little bit more right there. Some right there. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Alright, I think I like that. I think that helped a lot. Okay. So now I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to add some more of that green over on this side. I'm going to kind of just try to be a little bit lighter with it, just kind of in a few spots, just like that. And I'll also add some like yellow coloration as well, because there's some yellow going on down here, which is kind of interesting. It really stands out. But I also want to make sure that I get that nice green effect, just like that. And I also want to add in the black for the bones down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to do really sharp, bright green colors up here at the top. Which is kind of cool because we've been trying to like focus on making sure that the green is toned down. And it'll be really nice to just get it to like really pop out. So I'm going to kind of add this backbone over here. And I'm going to make it arc downwards because it's obvious that this is like the full thing going on here. And then I'm going to kind of get a little bit more black. And I'm going to just kind of carefully, like, add that. That should be like the little spike for the bone. And add one right there. Just like that. And then I guess kind of like these bones are going in like this kind of direction, I guess. Here, let me get some more black. Okay. So we should probably complete this one. So it goes down this way. My black is getting really dry, so I keep having to like dip it over and over again. So I'm adding in this particular bone structure right there. And we'll add this one. Ugh, come on, black. Running out on me when I need you to be nice and dark. Come on. Okay, so adding in this one over here, just like so. Yeah, it's looking decent. It's looking decent. We'll fix it a bit more because it's kind of blobby. Like it's got like a blotted appearance, so we're gonna fix that. I just want to kind of get them down to start with, and then we'll add in the green, just like so. And we are going to kind of add in this blackish area down here because it kind of gets really dark at the bottom. There we go. And then, let's see here. I'll add in that green coloration, because that's going to make it pop more. Maybe also just, like, a light layer of black over here, just to kind of rise it up a little bit more. Just really, really light. Oh, it's not even. Dry paints, my friends. Dry paints. Drive me nuts every single time. Lettuce says he's got his tentacle hand tie and then the spicy boy right afterwards. You got it, man. You crack me up, dude. Love you, lettuce. Love you, lettuce. Okay, so I'm kind of adding in this light layer of black just to kind of really like blend it in properly. Makes the coloration look better with the purple closer to the top. And it still seems properly defined, just enough. Just enough. I'm trying to get it to focus so I can see. Yeah, that looks about right in the camera for me as well. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to go back to my bright green color. And we're just going to lay it right on top of that black. Okay. So I'm going to be very careful here, or at least try to be very careful. Just kind of like layer it on this black, just like so. Put it alongside the spikes. Yeah, that looks good. Trying to... Yeah, that looks good. Okay, cool. Cool. Alright. And then bring this green down over on this side, like so. It's just nice and easy. Ooh, that might be a little too bright right there. And then I'm going to bring it down along this side. Just like so. And bring it down along this side. There we go. So there is a portion of that that's just a little bit too bright. I mean, even in the fogginess of the camera, you can still kind of see it, that it's like way too bright. So I'm going to add some black just to kind of like tone that down a little bit. Okay. Just tone that down a smidge. There we go. Oh, it's so much better. So much better. So much better. Yeah, that's like a dead, murky animal body of some sort, you know? Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, that makes me so happy. Okay, cool. That looks awesome. That makes me really, really happy. Yeah. Oh, Lettuce, you're so sweet. Yeah. Just gonna kind of... Whoop. That is an interesting effect. I kind of mixed the green with the black there, and it also allows me to blend the green a little bit better with the black at the bottom. So that's really nice. Okay. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll add that black right there, just a little bit. Okay. God, that's looking really nice. That's looking pretty nice there. I'm going to do a few things with the green over on this side just a little bit. A little hair on the brush there for a second. Okay, so I'm going to kind of dip that down like that. Dip that one like that. I'm going to add a new one over here. And we're going to bring this like that. Kind of bring it down that way. I like the idea that some of the branches are like really bright with the green and some of them are kind of darkened. It's got a nice effect to it. You can definitely clearly see it in the art as well, that they're doing it that way, which is really cool. Add a little bit of this. Kind of defines it just a little bit better. And then maybe a little bit over here, just like so. I kept talking about that yellow effect and I wasn't doing it, so I think I'm going to do that really quick. This might be like the last thing I do, yeah, because I've got like 2 minutes left until I'm supposed to end this stream. So I'm going to add this yellow and then we're going to wrap it up and we will finish this piece next time. But let me go ahead and just kind of get that yellow going. I really want to see like how it will affect everything. So I'm trying to be really light with it. Start with it over here, just a little bit. Just kind of adding it up towards the top a little bit. Maybe a little bit over here. Some down here. It actually adds this really cool effect. It makes it look a lot more fetid. I think that's the right word, fetid. Like it's like more polluted and looking and stuff like that. So I think that yellow did a really good effect. Because of how nice that looks, I'm going to add also some yellow on the other side too. Yeah, just a little bit. I don't need very much. It's a very sharp color, so you kind of have to be a little careful with it. Maybe it doesn't need it. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just kind of add like a little bit right there. Just a teeny tiny, itty bitty amount. I don't want it to get too crazy. There we go. Yeah, that is a cool effect. I actually really like that. I really, really like that. Yeah. Maybe a little bit over here too. Just a little bit. Yeah, that does look nicer. All right. So there's the progress we've gotten done so far. You know, that's really weird. It looks different. This yellow over here looks really, really bright on camera, but it looks really dark in my vision. I'm wondering if that's too bright. I can't tell with the camera. It's very strange. Hey, Thoth, good to see you, man. Were you in here earlier? I don't think you were. I think this is just now the first time you've joined up. Well, I'm about to end the stream, buddy, so I'm glad to see that you're here. But I'm sorry, but I gotta end it. I gotta end it here. I gotta say goodbye to all you pretty people. So I hit my 2 hour mark, and I really like the direction that this swamp is going. It's looking really nice. We'll probably finish it next time. Now, obviously, it's not done here. It needs to be finished next time on the next stream that I do for it. Super glad to have all of you guys in here. Yeah, so super glad to have all you guys in here. I was just distracted by reading what Lettuce was talking about. Something about an invitational card. So thank you all so much for being here. Glad that all 7 of you wanted to come in and hang out and have a good time. I super appreciate it. You guys rock. So I will see you guys next time. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Please hit that notification bell if you haven't already. And as I always love to say, guys, follow your dreams, okay? I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Have a nice night. I'll see you in the stream later tonight. Well, Mike's stream, right? Mike's stream. Pretty sure it's Mike's stream. So I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys. You guys rock.